Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flick Show. My name is Chris Wong. This is episode 486 of the Ping Pong Flick Show. Let's get to some DC news. First off, I would love to congratulate Joaquin Phoenix on getting the Oscar for Best Actor in a Leading Role. Congratulations, Joaquin Phoenix. Well deserved. That was an entertaining and incredible and awesome performance by you. Heath Ledger is looking down from the heavens right now and smiling like Joaquin Phoenix. And it's kind of weird because all three actors who've played Joker, in fact even four because Jack Nicholson as well, have won Oscars. Okay, Jared Leto didn't win an Oscar for his performance as the Joker, but he did win an Oscar before he became a Joker, so I don't know if that counts. But in any case, they all won Joker for Joker, and that's incredible. Congratulations to Joaquin Phoenix. Also to, and I'm just gonna say Hilder, and I won't even try to pronounce the last name. For original score, amazing. This lady had done an incredible score for Joker. It is indeed an original score. It's very haunting at times. And incredible as well. So congratulations to these two Oscars for Joker, which win multiple awards. Also got $1 billion in the box office. Warner Brothers, what were you thinking? Not having any faith in this? Well, at least a little. Just having a little bit more faith in your directors, please. And this one is probably going. Another movie that I did a review on, and I want to talk about it now. It's Birds of Prey. Okay, Birds of Prey, the box office numbers has come in. Worldwide box office is now at 79 million. I think just yesterday was estimated at 80 something million. Actuals came in, it's lower. Worldwide is now 79 million as of today, February 10th of 2020 here in America. So domestic is 33 million. Production budget is 84.5 million. So there are people who are going estimates around saying that the analysts were saying there should have been 45. I remember talking about box office tracking of 55 to 60 million. Lots of fingers being pointed around, quite a bit. People were saying, it's the men who didn't want to show up and stuff like that, even though analysts have shown that 53% of people who showed up to Birds of Prey were men. So that's that takes away that message altogether. I know I dragged my wife to go see Birds of Prey. She was not interested, really not interested at all in that one. But I pulled her in and to give that thing a whirl. But a lot of different things are happening. People blaming this. Should have been? Is it the marketing? Is it what is it? And then other people are saying it's gonna do fine. It's fine. It's a good amount of money, and it's successful. What are you talking about? So I guess I'd like to give you my take on it, right? So I did kind of tweet and I said it's going to have a successful box office. That's because I thought it was about it already reached that budget amount, but apparently not. And we'll see what happens next weekend when Sonic comes out. I don't know if that's going to go do bonkers, but I know kids and family are going to go to there. So my take on it is I'm looking at it as a movie, right? So basically, every movie has its own budget. Every movie has its own what it needs to make to break even. That's fine. And for Birds of Prey, I think it'll eventually get there. It can eventually get to the break even point and actually make some money. Possibly, we'll have to wait to see second weekends and after that. But and so it seems fine right now as a movie because compared to John Wick and all these other movies that have lower budgets and then higher gross profits like Shazam, right? So that's fine. I think that seems to work out okay. But you have, as a company, and I don't know if Warner Brothers is doing this anymore, but as a company, right? You have to look at this movie as part of a brand, right? You don't, you don't sell a Louis Vuitton bag, an expensive Louis Vuitton bag that should cost $1,000 for only $10. You're cheapening the brand. Even the used ones have a little bit more value into it. It's called value into the brand, and the brand here is DC. I mean, it's even here, brand rankings, DC Comics. It's not like Birds of Prey is a superhero movie that is not even part of a brand. If Birds of Prey was something of another comic or something, some arbitrary or some other generic comic, and it made this much money, that'd be pretty. Yeah, okay, not bad. It's gonna do well. It's pretty fine. It's fine. It's fine as a movie, but as a brand. Are we cheapening the brand by putting less money into these things, especially into possibly marketing, that it will actually make it lessen the brand? I mean, it's already kind of hurting the brand in a way because they're knocking the brand. Oh, look, DC, another DC movie that's less. It's less than Green Lantern or something, It's cheapening the brand. And I get people want to try to ignore that and think of positive and outlook on that, but the reality is it's cheapening the brand. Okay, so let me pull this up. I put these numbers in, and this is coming from the numbers, or even Box Office Mojo, however you want to look at it, right? So this is the production budget here of Man of Steel, Batman v Super, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, Justice League, Aquaman, Shazam, Birds of Prey. No, Joker's not in here because Joker's not part of the DCU. Joker is by itself. Also, it became a meme. Its controversy actually gave birth to publicity, and it actually went off to make $1 billion and won many, many awards. It's great. It's awesome by itself. Okay, it is a DC film, yes, but it's not a DCEU film. So I wanted to look within every one of these connects to DCU in one way or another. Joker is kind of like off the thing. Now, does that mean Warner Bros. Is looking like, should we just make that kind of thing? Possibly. And I think Matt Reeves' The Batman is in that direction as well. But if we're looking at the DCEU, production budgets, you can see how it kind of, in the beginning, was pretty hefty and stuff, and then it started getting dwindling down to here, right? I know you're already screaming at the TV or whatever you're looking at about Shazam, but let's get to that in a minute. With marketing, now usually it's hard to find a formula because and this is just this is just a basic formula that some people, actually a lot of people, different people in the industry uses, which saying that you have to look at budget, double that with marketing. Marketing could actually be more, but I'm just gonna do the basic thing where people say it's double the budget. So I've doubled the budget for all these movies, so to get this number that they have to reach, and then I grab the worldwide box office of these movies. Of course, Birds of Prey, not there yet, but it's interesting to see how we can get there. And this is gross profit-ish. Gross profit, not net profit. Gross profit is before everything's taken away. Now, most of these things, ticket sales and stuff like that, is like the theaters take like what, 50%, 55, 65%. We have we can go into really detail, but it's things, information that sometimes even the studio is the only one that has that information. So we're just going to go with the basics here. But just from the basic, that's why I said gross profit-ish, we can see that Man of Steel is successful. Batman v Superman, successful. 347 million, 217 million. Suicide Squad, even more. 396 million. That's without China. Wonder Woman, a lot more. 521 million, right? Justice League, terrible, because it was done, they put a lot more money into reshoots when they didn't really need to. It made less than all these other movies, and it came to a gross profit of 55 million, which is what we want to kind of say, well, it's kind of break even, but not really. Actually, it probably didn't even break even. Okay, so because of the 55% little asterisk there, if I may. Aquaman, of course. Oh my God, that made a ton of money. It's incredible at 160 million budget, double that for, and like I said, marketing could have been more, but essentially you can see the numbers here. Then we go to Shazam, where everybody's touting that's the way to go. Well, 85 plus, double. It made 193 million gross. Yes, it made gross profit, but if just basic calculation here, it it kind of is less than these other ones, right? So, and also you're cheapening the brand. You're not putting a lot of effort and putting value into the brand itself. So, and so that's why maybe not many people went back and watched it, or this opening number, like nobody went to watch it, period, right? So I know what you want to say. I want to say, hey, Chris, come on, Shazam! It made worldwide box office 363 million at a production budget of 80. I get it. I see that the number is right in front of me. Okay, but what you're not looking at, and what you're trying to avoid the question, is where did this is almost half of this. In fact, it's almost half of this actually. Okay, the people who went to this movie, only half of them showed up that went to this movie. Only half of them went to show up that, like, where is the rest of them? And why didn't they go? Or if they did go, why didn't they go back? Right? And even worse, right now, okay, and we can go into the opening worldwide box office. At least Aquaman was about 60 something million opening weekend, but then with the Christmas and the holidays, the people just kept going back because they enjoyed it, they loved it, it was awesome. And we'll get to see if Birds of Prey can hold just like Aquaman. That would be fantastic. That would mean that the brand is still strong, and that's what I want. Like, I'm here for the brand, okay? I didn't go to Birds of Prey because it was an all-woman cast. I didn't go to Birds of Prey for, like my wife thinks, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. No, I didn't go to Birds of Prey because I wanted to see a Black Mask, or I wanted to see Ewan McGregor. I didn't wanted to see Margot Robbie. I didn't go there because Cassandra Cain's an Asian or something. I had no preconceived notions of that, other than the pure and simple fact, the pure and simple reason that it's a DC film and I'm a DC fan. That's the only number one reason I went to see Birds of Prey. That's the only number one reason I went to see Birds of Prey. So it makes you wonder, why did they go to see these other movies? Why did they go, especially all of this, with the exception of even Shazam, who were they trying to sell to, and why didn't it reach to that crowd, right? So to me, Birds of Prey not making a great opening box office, Shazam not making a incredible, I get it's made money. That's not the point I'm trying to make. It made money for the movie itself, but it didn't keep the brand, right? It didn't keep the value of the brand, which is DC. And I'm hoping Birds of Prey turns around. I really am. I thought it was fine. I thought it was okay. It was entertaining. I love the action. I love the banters. I love the Quentin Tarantino-esque storytelling. I loved all that, right? But as a whole, from beginning to end, it was fine. I thought it was a fine addition to DCEU, to the DCEU, right? I thought it was a fine addition, and I commend everything that Cathy Yan has done. Me not liking a film wholeheartedly doesn't mean I do not respect the director got to make what they got to make. Okay, I don't like The Last Jedi, but I'm happy that Rian Johnson got to make the movie he wanted to make. I'm happy for that, right? So, with all this outlook on Birds of Prey, right, I truly hope it can turn around. Not for the sake of the movie, because I think as a movie it'll do fine. But as a brand, I think it kind of brings down the value of the brand, especially what people are looking at the brand. Look at, I know, you're saying don't look at Marvel, Chris, but Marvel has one thing going for it, and it's the brand. It pushed out mediocre movies, but because of the strength of the Marvel brand, people went to watch it anyway, right? Like I would watch Birds of Prey back to back many, many times if I didn't have to see Captain Marvel again. Okay, and that's because I'm a DC shill, right? I'm a DC. I've told you many times I'm a DC shill, and I care about the DC brand. So I hope Birds of Prey will turn around. I hope that, like here in the first 4 or 5 movies, people went out to see a DC movie. At least I believe so. I think they recognize it. This is a DC film. This is a universe with Batman, Superman in it, with Wonder Woman and all these other characters in it. And I want to see what happens next. I want to see what's in it next, right? It's recognizable. The brand is there. And then Shazam came along, and yes, they plugged in a little bit of it, but for some reason, I think they gave the people, the creatives, the production, but they gave them whatever the budget that they wanted to give. Say, you got to make it less than 100 million. You got to less than make it 100 million budget. And even worse, I think they even lessened the marketing budget. So it's even possible this is not even the marketing they gave them. Like they didn't even give them another 85 million for budget for marketing. Maybe they gave him 50 million for marketing. Maybe they gave Birds of Prey 30 million for marketing, and that's why it's sinking right now. Marketing is important, and you're saying, says, well, why would marketing be that important? They know DC. Well, maybe they don't. Maybe it didn't reach the right crowds. Maybe it didn't reach the right people. Maybe it didn't even bring out the right message. While strong names like Louis Vuitton, Reebok, that brand sells itself. To me, seeing these two movies underperform in terms of what the value of the brand is, not its movie by itself, but the value of the brand is, it's depressing, because that means the brand is really not selling itself right now, right? And so, and I hope that changes. For some reason, the marketing was lackluster, and it could be other reasons as well. I understand it could be because it's rated R, so the younger teenage girls couldn't go and see it. They couldn't beg their parents to go and see it. That's possible as well. It could have been, Harley Quinn was in the forefront, and I kind of want to disagree to that, which makes me lead to my second little thing here, where apparently AMC, Cinemark, and Regal have all updated their sites to reflect the new title. They're right. That's right. The theaters are changing the title of the movie. Not the movie. The movie, when you're watching the movie, it's still going to say Birds of Prey. But when you go and buy a ticket, it may say this: Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey. Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey. Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey. Now, why did they do that? Because I think at this point, either Warner Brothers or the theaters are freaking out, right? They're saying, what the hell happened? We were expecting 45 million or 50 million. So that gives me two reasons, right? And I don't know if the theaters can do this without Warner Brothers' permission, but if Warner Brothers is asking the theaters to do this, that means, one, they were expecting a bigger turnout, and it's not what these positive people are thinking, like, no, they could have been expecting more. Well, if they could have been expecting more, then they wouldn't tell the theaters to change the name right now. Then they would be happy. They would put out a statement, we're incredibly happy that Birds of Prey got $79 million in the worldwide box office. They put out a statement like that. But no, instead we're hearing news now, without Warner Brothers saying anything, that the theaters are changing the name of the tickets, of the name at only the theaters, not the movie itself, the theaters, to Harley Quinn Birds of Prey, in hopes to get more people to buy more tickets. Okay, because this is what they're selling it to the theaters. Look how disappointed the theaters probably are. The theaters had reserved, what is it? How much did they reserve? 4,236 theaters were reserved for Birds of Prey, and not every single seat is selling out. As a theater, right? They're not free. They're not some place where a movie can, a student can come here and say, here, show this. They have to sell it to these theaters, and these theaters have to, in a way, buy it and say, hey, I will show your movie because you're saying it's going to be successful, and I'm going to sell out tickets. I'm going to sell the popcorn. I'm going to sell the drinks that go along with these tickets. Well, if those seats aren't filled, they're not going to sell that popcorn. They're not going to sell that drink, and ultimately they're not going to sell that ticket. They're going to have an empty, air-conditioned room with very little people in it. So what are we going to do? And that way, that came to the reason why, let's do something about it. Let's change it. Let's change the name so perhaps maybe it's more representative of the movie one, and Harley Quinn is probably the name that will probably sell this movie, right? That's an argument also, what I want to argue later on. I know it's too much for this video, but who went to Suicide Squad? Why did they go to Suicide Squad? And why aren't they watching this movie? If they said that in Suicide Squad, Harley Quinn sold that movie, then why aren't they watching this movie? I get the title was called Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. I get Harley Quinn was in the title as a little bit. She was plastered all over the poster. She was in forefront. Marketing even knew that Harley Quinn would sell a name, right? Would sell the movie, actually. But could it also mean that having her name in the title would have been bigger, would have been a bigger push? Is it too late? We'll have to wait and see in the second weekend, and possibly they can really turn it around. I'm glad actually they're doing this because, one, they should be freaking out. I'm sorry for you guys who think this is already successful, but as a brand, they should be freaking out because the brand is much more important than the single movies that are coming out, right? That's more important, right? And it's not fair to Cathy Yan by them just not giving her the amount of or pushing the marketing for her. They got to be fair to the creators too, okay? The creators worked hard to make this movie. You guys got to help market it for them. And one of these that should have been out, marketing team should have came and talked about it and said, hey, 80% of this movie is Harley Quinn. Everybody recognizes Harley Quinn, so she should be in the forefront. Now, like I said, is it really? Because all the marketing had Harley Quinn in it, the posters and everything. Maybe the title change could have made a difference, but we'll have to wait and see second weekend. And that's why it comes to my other point about Suicide Squad. What made Suicide Squad successful? Several things come to mind. Maybe it was because it was PG-13. Maybe because it had Will Smith, and Will Smith is a big star name. Maybe because Batman showed up in the teasers and the trailers. Maybe because there was a Joker as well. People recognize Joker, okay? Just like the Joaquin Phoenix, people recognize Joker, even though that added the controversy and that sold the publicity as well. But people recognize big DC characters, right? So I think it's just a mix of missed things, right? Marketing, not enough marketing, the name perhaps, the title perhaps, not having anybody like Batman or Joker show up, maybe even the directors and I don't know, not pushing for it as much. I know Cathy Yan posts some stuff. Journey Smollett seems to post a lot more about it. There's so many different things that really went wrong for Harley Quinn. Let's see, I said it too. For Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn. But boy, I hope it really turns around. And I hope I'm wrong. And every weekend after this, we'll have like a 10% drop, 15% drop. And then it'll get eventually to big numbers. So we could have a turnaround where it goes to 800 million. I know you're like, what? But hey, anything's possible. Remember, Aquaman started opening weekend at 60 million. I get it. Worldwide was much bigger, but it still crept and crept and crept little by little, and eventually paid off. You know, you got to remember things like Jumanji happens too. Jumanji also kind of crept and crept low. You know, people went back. It could happen. I'm just saying it could happen. Be optimistic about it for the brand, for the brand. But I do want to say I do kind of miss. I really miss this group right here. I really do. Well, they had something going. Zack Snyder was going to let each and every one of these people make their own movies, but throw in little bits of connectivity. It was nice to see the Flash, Batman show up in Suicide Squad. It was nice to hear the name of mention of Batman, Bruce Wayne, in and actually kind of in Patty Jenkins, Wonder Woman, Aquaman was a big blockbuster itself. No, it didn't have any of these other characters that show up, but he really made it a super fun blockbuster, and people really went to see it. So everybody had their little flavor, plus with the marketing push for every one of them, right? Harley Quinn Birds of Prey, it's difficult. There are literally, I don't see, and I get it. They tried to do it in a certain way, in a certain fashion, but as a brand, they really need to push out more marketing. Even if it's like selling toys and things like that, that's all part of marketing. And I really hope it turns around for Kathy Yan and crew. But on a lighter note, speaking about Harley Quinn, here I'm going to share with you small tidbit video from fandom. Margot Robbie talks a little bit about the Suicide Squad, which she's going to be starring in.
I can tell you that it's going to be incredible. And again, it's just interesting to see what a different filmmaker makes of Gotham and these characters and Harley, really. I'm fascinated by what James finds interesting about her compared to what Kathy finds interesting, compared to what David found interesting about her. So, and he's such a comic book lover. So, it's always going to be, again, rooted in the source material, which is always important to me.
So, um, interesting things she said there. Um, One, she's already saying that James Gunn is going to look at her character in the way James Gunn looks at her character, right? It's going to be his way, his version of Harley Quinn. So, like Harley Quinn in the Birds of Prey movie, Margot Robbie had a slightly, it's kind of the same, and she is indeed Harley Quinn in both Suicide Squad, The Suicide Squad, and Birds of Prey. But there was some difference in there. It's like this is her perspective of how she sees herself as Harley Quinn. Then we got a perspective of how David Ayer, how that world, and you can kind of argue it's possibly more of Deadshot's view of the world, maybe his perspective of Harley Quinn. Right? You got that point, even though you see scenes of her and her own thinking of Harley Quinn as well. Then we're going to have James Gunn's own version. And I think that's kind of interesting to see a different director's perspective of what Harley Quinn should be. Of course, she's probably even putting her input in as well, as you can kind of hear here, that she will definitely have her own input of her own Harley Quinn, because it is her character. She is Harley Quinn. It's no different than Hugh Jackman being Wolverine, Henry Cavill is Superman. These people are so in tune with their character that you can't really, well, maybe more Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, like that. And Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. Margot Robbie is indeed Harley Quinn, and I can't see anybody else being Harley Quinn at this moment. She has reached that level, at least for me, and I'm sure for a lot of people. And so it will be interesting to see how her character evolves as through other directors' eyes, right? Because apparently David Ayer is going to make Gotham City Sirens. We're going to get to see that version of Harley Quinn once again and how it all connects together. So I love that part of that. And I hope that the brand is strong enough by then that people will go and see the Suicide Squad and give it a lot of love and stuff to show you got to show Warner Brothers that the brand is still strong, and that they should pump a little bit more money into the marketing for that. So good stuff. I am ready to see how that evolves to. James Gunn making the Suicide Squad, having a lot of those characters, how that will turn out. I think Wonder Woman 1984 is going to be a huge blockbuster success. I'm thinking it's going to be like the 800s to $1 billion worldwide, and then well, we'll see how that works out, but. I'm interested to see the Suicide Squad because if people are saying, well, no one's going to watch Birds of Prey because no one liked, David Ayer's Suicide Squad, which is just ridiculous. And so I'm wondering if James Gunn's The Suicide Squad is going to be affected by what's happening here in Birds of Prey. I hope not. I hope James Gunn gets to make the James Gunn version of the Suicide Squad. I really do. I hope Warner Bros. Don't freak out right now and start doing weird, crazy stuff like they've done in the past. Can't really trust them at all. But Geeks Worldwide has another DC story for us. Exclusive DC Shazam sequel plotting July 2020 filming start. So they're making progress on the Shazam sequel, and they've learned that filming is currently set to get underway this July. That's pretty quick. I like to say, and that's good. That's quick because they're not getting any younger, these kids. And if they're trying to make that kid to adult a thing, kid turned into adult thing, they got to make it pretty soon. Angel revealed back in January that Asher Angel, the guy who plays Billy Batson, would start shortly. I think we start filming really soon. I'm super excited, so that's great. I'm happy for the Shazam production crew that they're starting early, so that way we get the Black Adam thing, and then we get the Shazam 2 right after. Bam, bam, bam. Then we can kind of just connect all that entire universe right there. Shazam's little mini universe right there before the kids get too old. I don't want to say old, but get too puberty hits and their deeper voices and they don't look the same. Kids grow into all kinds, and I should know I have 3, but I'm hoping and it will release. Shazam 2 will release on April 1st, 2022. That's not April's Fool's, apparently. That could be catchy for marketing. Hopefully people still make it to theaters, thinking it's a real opening and not a April Fool's. Well, I'm pretty sure people are that, smart. But, yeah. I mean, if anything, there's still possibly another DC movie aside from Wonder Woman 1984 that's coming out this year. Possibly. I mean, I don't know. Into the People had posted this. Big news, the Zack Snyder Justice League shirts have come back online. You can now purchase them again, or if you slept on purchasing Merc the last time, now is your chance for redemption. Who wouldn't want to raise more money for the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention? And if you notice, and I just noticed this after I looked at it, Zack Snyder's JL 2020. I noticed they changed the name of it and added 2020. Now, I don't know if this is just a number they put in there just to differentiate from the 2021 marketing, or are they really saying Zack Snyder's Justice League is a 2020 film? It's coming out this year. Now, I know John Aaron Garza had went on to Lantern 2814 podcast, and he was kind of guessing that it's possibly an October, November release and something like, or at least something, or an announcement or something like that. I can say honestly, I kind of feel that Zack Snyder's Justice League will be announced this year, and I've been saying it for a while now, since November November of last year. So and not I doesn't mean I know anything. I just feel like at this point in time, at the rate it has been going, that it should be all be fixed, or it should be all put together, or should be all all the politics and all the things that need this to happen should be worked out within this year. And so I'm expecting an announcement. I don't know if the actual movie's coming out, but I'm expecting an announcement at least. This year, and I hope it's pretty soon. Now, whether it's going to be this coming weekend on 214, may be kind of, for a while I was thinking maybe, but, we got a little post from Zack Snyder's Justice League fan posters, right? So notice to artists taking part in the JL fan posters event. Poster submissions are not closed. You guys, huge thanks to everyone for the incredible support. By the way, incredible amount of artwork. Holy cow. Please note that Zach is moving his winning poster announcement date out to give himself more time to review and reward the winner. So, unfortunately, we won't have an announcement on 214. I still hope Zack Snyder will post something. I read this in my live chat. I'll read it to you. On behalf of Zach, we would like to thank everyone who entered their posters and congratulate all of you for coming up with such great artwork. Zach really has his work cut out for him in trying to pick a winner. The amount of entries is absolutely phenomenal, and there's so many great pieces. This is a testament to the passion and dedication of Zach's fan community. Given the unforeseen level of fan engagement in this event, as well as an unexpected schedule clash with the recently announced RTSC Art Festival on 214, Zach has decided to postpone the winning poster selection announcement to a later date. This frees up Zach to give more time to review the huge number of posters, also ensures a dedicated day for the winning poster designer to be announced and celebrated. Stay tuned while we wait a new announcement date from Zach. So, that is what they're saying now. Unfortunately, we won't know who wins the poster or what the prize is on 214. But there's still the Snyder Cut Festival that day, and just to let everyone know, Ramesh will be helping choose the 25 finalists of the RTSC Arts Festival. Submit your art, handmade, digital, music, video, and literature. Before 214, Zack Snyder will be choosing the final 5. Hope to see all your entries. So he also has his work cut out for him to choose the final 5. Now I'm wondering if Ramesh, hey, was this your poster for the Justice League fan poster? Possibly. And I've posted this before about the Arts Festival in my Arts Festival Arts Festival video. So check that out if you want to hear me read this entire submission, and you can figure out what time, when. I think it's extended from 2-hour submission limit to a 4-hour submission time period, so you have a little bit more room and more time to submit your art in any of the 5 main artistic categories. So that's exciting as well. It's going to be definitely a fan event on 214, and we'll have to wait and see what happens that weekend. All right, guys. Well, that is it for tonight. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. Please, if you haven't seen Birds of Prey, you're on the fence, and you're trying to wonder if you're listening to people, if it's good or not. If you're remotely interested in seeing it, do yourself a favor and go check it out and see for yourself if you like it. Do not let anybody tell you otherwise. All right, guys. I'll see you around.